Hi guys, Megan here with What's Growing On. What I'm going to do today is walk you through where my progress is at with my garden and kind of fill you in on some of the tips and traits and things that I've kind of learned along the way from the wiki videos and kind of the YouTube videos that I've watched. What I saw is that actually the YouTube videos were most efficient and kind of helpful because you got to really see what the gardeners were doing and the advice and kind of the strategy that they were sharing. So hopefully this video can be helpful for those gardeners out there. First of all, what I was going to kind of start out with is where we originally had planned to put this garden in its entirety is this fenced-in area around here. The issue is that since the previous owners used it as kind of a dog pen, the soil is really, really dense and moist and kind of clay-like. So to fix that, what we're working on, and it's kind of a long process, is that we put sand and some organic matter, really mixing it and kind of tilling the soil, mixing it up quite thoroughly to really loosen it up and allow it to hold the nutrients up closer to the roots of the plant and kind of supporting the plant structurally better as well. So in the meantime, as this has been kind of taking up quite a bit of time, what we've been doing is kind of making some of the other decisions and planning outside of the garden and growing some vegetables in grow boxes. So one of the first things that was important to determine is what vegetables to grow. Now you have your favorites, you have what you like to eat, but there was another interesting perspective that was brought to me on the web, which is what's most cost effective. So going to the grocery store and really seeing like, okay, carrots. Carrots are pretty easy to grow, but also very inexpensive usually when you go to the grocery store. Things like green leaf lettuces, herbs, peppers, tomatoes sometimes can get very pricey and costly. So what we've done is taken those that are pretty simple to grow and we've grown them in grow boxes, hopefully successfully. So if you follow me over here, what I have here is that we did start with some seedlings. Now, where the web opinions were at, we're kind of split in terms of starting with pure seeds versus seedlings. And I got some advice from a gardener that actually has a pretty continuous web presence, and he kind of suggested that for new gardeners especially, seedlings are really the best bet to go because they're a little hardier, a little sturdier, and they can withstand a little bit more irregularity with new gardeners. So most of the stuff that we've decided to grow, we did go ahead and purchase seedlings from local markets and started them with that, but already we've seen some pretty cool progress in growth. So let me show you what we got. In this first grow box we do have parsley. Parsley's pretty easy to grow, also harvests kind of a lot here. Obviously the harvest is a lot per plant. We put 2 seedlings in here. We've seen quite a bit of growth over about a week and a half to 2 weeks span. All you do is you kind of take the seedling, loosen the soil or the kind of the soil that it comes with, loosen it up, put it in, and make sure that you water and fertilize regularly because fertilizer especially is not something I really thought of needing to do on your own, but it is for potted plants very important to fertilize the soil regularly as well as water and of course sunshine. Over here in this next grow box, we have kind of a gardener's favorite. We have basil. Basil's really sturdy and quite hardy. Kind of can withstand quite a bit here in terms of irregularity and grows pretty quickly. Obviously, we have quite a bit of growth here that's happened just over the last week or two. So basil is usually a good bet, especially if you like cooking yummy dishes with basil. This is a really good choice to select. Usually can be kind of expensive sometimes in the grocery store and pretty easy to grow. In this next box we have our zucchini plants. Now zucchini plants are pretty easy to grow even though most people would steer away from them. The one concern that comes up with plants that have a pretty prominent stem is the idea that sometimes as they grow you might need to put a support rod or a support stick in there because the integrity of the stem can break and bend as the plant gets a little top heavy. So it's concerning, you know, as it gets a little heavier you can even see these are starting to bend a little bit. We might have to go ahead and put a support rod in there to really help make sure that the plant grows straight and sturdy and successfully. Over here what we have is obviously there's no seedlings in here. We went with seeds for this. These are radishes, or hopefully will be radishes. Why we went with that is underground plants and root vegetables, usually the most success is when you start with a seed rather than a seedling. In this second to last grow box here, we have dill. I personally like cooking with dill and that's kind of why I chose it. Dill also is kind of really sturdy and easy to grow. It looks flimsy and thin, but obviously that's the nature of the plant and the vegetable, but pretty easy to grow. Seedlings were pretty cost efficient. They weren't very expensive, so it worked out pretty nicely. In this last bin, what we have here are peppers. We actually have two kinds of peppers. We have spicy peppers, because they're my husband's favorite. We have habaneros and jalapeno peppers. Similar to the zucchinis, obviously the structure of the stem is going to be something that we'll have to take a look at, potentially needing to support as the plant grows bigger and bigger with some type of support beams, sticks, things like that. In general, though, my journey has been pretty interesting. I've learned a lot about soil, about growing, and I've really gotten a chance to get my hands dirty, quite literally. So hopefully these tips and tricks have helped. Look to the web for more. There's tons and tons of information, and have fun growing your own garden.